Obviously, you're not a golfer.
Wrong.
You want to tow? I can get you a tow. Believe me, there are ways, dude. You don't want to know about it, believe me.
Yeah, but Walter.
Hell, I can get you a tow by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish. That rug really tied the room together, did it not?
That's hilarious.
Yes, it really did. It tied it together, just like this movie we're watching today.
Yeah. So on the last movie, in the intro, we didn't really have much sound.
We had no sound. This time, our ears just about bled.
Sound came in hot with the intro song.
Is there anything coming out of my ear right now? Because I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, a little switcheroo there. Intern Kyle's not here to help.
Where is that guy?
Probably back in Chicago, hanging out with Pritzker, eating dogs and pizza.
And cats.
And cats. Going to see the Cubbies.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to this podcast. Really ties the room together. My name is Joseph Eastwood Fresh. I'm a musician.
Just noticed.
Writer, director, and things. My good friend James Koppel. We like to talk about movies, good, bad. And it is Shocktober. That's right. I made that up myself. And we're doing horror movies this month, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Should get a copyright on that.
I think I should. Next month, we're doing Deep Dick December.
No, not next month.
Oh, wait, that's not right. Next month is No Nut November.
No Nut November, followed by Dick Down December.
December. No Nut November should be. Hey, welcome, by the way, Carbondale downtown.
Radio fans.
Carbondale 91.1.
You'll just hear a bunch of
WDBX.
bleeps there.
If you like to tune in, we're also on the YouTubes. Just look up 20 and 21 wherever podcasts are found or on YouTube, and you shall find this feed. I think 20 and 21 is still coming back. We just have been either that or the guys are just going to start guesting on this show. Seems like it might be the thing. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
welcome.
We could always have
Everybody. Yeah. We just need to buy one more mic. We need to GoFundMe. We're trying to raise $30.
6 months later, we finally hit it. It's just chefs sending us like $3 at a time.
I'm gonna do it just to see how long it takes us to raise $30. Years later, Shark's got his own his Shure microphone from gigs.
Yeah,
I'll just use this, boys.
What we need is one of the old Bob Parker mics.
Oh, super long that we have to hold the whole time.
Yeah, and
Could you imagine if we had to? We'd start doing the Trump dance after a while.
everybody
Start
ends up
jerking
with
them off.
carpal tunnel from holding the mic. You get
You
sued.
just have to do this. Hey, what do you think? Oh, God.
Or we could get rid of these mics and just have the one mic, and anytime anyone talks, you
pass it around.
no, just you control it.
Just I control it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that way you can cut people off.
No, maybe I get tired. No, all right. No, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, carpal tunnel, all that stuff.
I think we could go like NFL route and just have like headsets that we don't have the microphone anymore. We're just free to roam.
Fesson? What was that?
Huh?
NFL. Nice.
I don't know. I don't watch sporting ball.
That was Anthrax there.
Ah, yes, the Public Enemy themselves, the Anthrax. We were just discussing my love for the Public Enemy earlier. Are they still enemies? I don't know. Hey, welcome to the show. We're doing today, we have one Halloween movie left after this one. So we've tried to escalate from like...
One or two?
We have one left after this
Okay.
one. We tried to escalate from like silliness to a little bit more serious, and we still haven't decided what next week's is going to be, but probably something pretty heavy or serious. Halloween movie. But this week we're doing the... What'd you tell me? 92?
Yeah, that's what I got now.
Oh, yeah, it is what I wrote down. Why did I get 96 in my head? I got that old... Well, never mind.
That old black magic.
About said something very disrespectful. I caught myself, though. Nobody knows what's in my brain except me. So I'm okay. We're doing the CANDYMAN from 1992. The OG CANDYMAN.
Good year.
Yeah, 92. Not bad at
I was
all.
a junior.
I don't know what I was. I was exploring. I was a little boy on the verge of being a little man.
What were you?
A little tushy.
Freshman, sophomore?
A little tushy.
You're just
Soft.
You were just 1 year behind me, right?
One or two. I think I
Maybe
was
two.
just one. I think two. I feel like it felt like it was a big difference in high school.
Yeah.
But once we were out of high school, it didn't seem like anything at all.
It really shouldn't have mattered then.
No, I want to say two.
You know how clicky Waltonville was
Because
back
the class above me was kind of, it was a great class, full of some weirdos. But then, you know what I mean. They say the cool classes come in twos every other year. CANDYMAN. Have you watched the new CANDYMAN?
I have not. I watched the trailer for it, and then I was like, because whenever I typed it in, that's the only one that came up. That's whenever and I watched the trailer, and then I was like, I know that he watched the old CANDYMAN, but I just want to verify. So I texted you.
Unlike Witch Trap. I should have verified first.
You did not text me. So
Witchboard.
I wonder how this would have gone if you watched the original and I watched the new one, and we tried to.
Oh, and try to compare. It would actually be pretty cool because I've watched the new one. Part of me, there's things about it I really liked. Things I didn't like. Overall, I would suggest it. I think it's a good movie, and I think it's a good sequel because it does what so many sequels don't do, which is it actually ties in.
Really ties the room together?
It really ties the room together in the sense that Virginia Madison, like she's even billed as being in the new CANDYMAN, because they use her story as an example of the CANDYMAN. They talk all about it. I think they might even flash back.
But now they have to say Helen,
which isn't good to say. Yeah. Spoilers.
Doesn't quite have the same.
No.
As CANDYMAN.
It needs to be like Smelling Helen.
Yeah.
Or something, you know what I mean? Helen from hell, something. Because Helen, nobody's going to say Helen 5 times. Yeah. I just did.
I did also.
CANDYMAN.
Yeah.
Original, OG, 1992, ins and outs, October 16th, right before Halloween. I watched this movie pretty young, but for some reason I thought that it was an old movie when I watched it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I thought it was going to be from like maybe mid to late 80s. No, it's from 92, which I was like, wow, it's from the 90s, which means I watched it when it was fairly new.
Early 90s are just an extension of the late 80s, really.
That's very true. Until like 94, you don't really get 90 flavor.
Yeah.
93, 94 was kind of the breakaway from, because often you'll see people, saying like, I got the bright neon windbreaker. I'm like, well, that's technically not 80s. That's like early 90s.
Right.
Like it was in the 80s as well, but it didn't burn itself out bright like the sun until 91.
Right.
And it was 92. People were like, eh? And then 93, like, no. It kind of, that's how it happened. So October 16th, this is based on Clive. I wrote Clive Owen. I know it's not Clive Owen. It's Clive Barker.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I had a Freudian slip of, boy, I wish Clive Owen was. Clive Barker, a short story called The Forbidden, which I've never read.
Does anyone read short stories?
Yeah, I mean, I've read a lot. I've read some Barkers, and I've read just about all of King's. And be honest, besides that, there's probably some I just slipping in my brain. I read a lot of Hunter's short stories. Short story format besides Poe.
I read a lot of them in like Playboy.
Oh yeah, the best
short stories.
Those are the best short stories. Oh, you're talking about stories about shorts. That special article that would be once every 2 months about the shorts that got shared by the girls.
Yeah.
It was the predecessor to to the Traveling Sisterhood of the Pants.
Yep.
But it started out as shorts.
Yep. They just kept adding on.
Guess who was originally wanted for the CANDYMAN? We talked about him last week. He was hot stuff in 1992.
Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy. They wanted Eddie Murphy to play the CANDYMan.
How stupid that would have been.
It's so bad.
This guy was great.
They couldn't afford him. Yeah. Tony Todd. Great name. Perfect CANDYMAN. I don't think you could get a better CANDYMan than him. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's got that great old like ankle length coat he wears.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. The story of Candyman's pretty cool. I like the backstory. Spoilers. I like Candyman. It's I hadn't watched it in years, but I was happy to watch it.
You know what they could have done? Sorry, hate to interrupt. Is instead of saying Helen 5 times, you say Candy Girl.
Candy Girl, Helen's my world. Something like that. For the lady, Sandy B, America's Princess, Sandra Bullock could have been her. I'm glad it wasn't. I love Sandra Bullock. But so do you know about the B bet, the B clause that Tony Todd had with the director? He had a clause with the director. He made a deal with him that so it's a theme throughout the movie that the Candyman was killed by bees, which we'll get to because I don't know how it doesn't make any sense. But there's often these scenes of him opening his mouth and bees are coming out. They're real bees. The same person that worked on My Girl worked on this movie. That's true. I don't know why. Nobody died in this one. He had a bet with the director. He would get $1,000 for each bee sting he got. He would have live bees. He would do it with live bees in his mouth, but he needed $1,000 for every sting he got. He ended up getting stung 23 times in the mouth.
Like he made $3.6 million just like that.
So yeah, it's 23.
We're not going to pay you anything for the movie, but every bee sting you get, we'll give you $1,000.
So they made 23 grand extra for getting stung 23 times. He's probably allergic for life now.
Oh yeah.
Tony
Hey,
Todd.
you want honey on that? No. Not good.
Do you know who I am? Sweets for the sweet. Written in feces. Philip Glass did the music. Great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the soundtrack. I think it's classic. The opening piano part over the city. I love that shot.
I love the shot. That's the first thing I love the opening aerial.
Yeah, it's great. It's over Chicago, which we know Chicago because we're in Illinois, so you got to know stuff about Chicago.
Everybody's from Chicago if you're from Illinois.
But seriously though,
there's
Chicago,
no mid or southern Illinois.
Chicago is our city on the hill, for better or less. But and I love Chicago.
And as far as it could possibly be from us,
it is very far. But being that city, we have to. So I do feel like obligated to be well,
I have family.
Knowledgeable. You have family there. I've only been there a few times myself, but I feel like I need to be familiar with Chicago. And I had so many friends from Chicago.
I love it. It's a great city.
It's great.
It gets a bad rap.
It's bad.
People act like, and especially people around here, act like you're just going to get shot when you go to Chicago. Which is not. It's not the case. It's a beautiful city. It's a welcoming city.
It is very beautiful and welcoming. And once you get in the city, you're 100% fine.
Yep.
It's just that
it's just dodging the bullets to get knocked.
No. It's literally just the traffic and the white knuckling to get to inside the city. Once you are in it proper.
It's all timing. Get it in
beautiful.
there too.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to time it right.
Stay off Lower Wacker.
Yeah.
That's just a personal thing.
If you ever get lost, just try to find Ogden Avenue because it's the longest freaking road I would say, in the United States. Ogden is enormous.
People
Wacker too.
Long time listeners know that if you get me in the tunnels under Chicago, you will see a different side of me. That is not good. I've talked about it before. Of course, Shark was like, "Why are you driving 60 down there?" I'm like, "Everybody's driving 60."
Yeah, 60 is the bare minimum.
Yeah. I'm like, that's the part where I hate, where it's like, "Turn now," and you're like, "I'm literally going 70 miles an hour," and there's a 90-degree turn off of this tunnel.
I am 2 lanes over, and
I'm stuck down here. Where's Batman? And the Joker is going to pull up in his truck any moment. That's where they filmed The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Anyway, love the opening shot. Philip Glass, he did The Hours, The Truman Show, Hamburger Hill, Secret Window, The Illusionist, A Brief History of Time, The Church, just to name a few. He's pretty underrated and underused. After I looked up his all the movies he did, he's pretty damn good, and he's not done that many movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, director's Bernard Rose. He did The Immortal Beloved, Anna Karina, a movie called Sex Tape without an E, and a movie called Snuff Movie. Now, here we go. Virginia Madison is the star of this movie. She was in movies like Fire with Fire, Zombie High.
That's what it was.
Fire with Fire. Is that okay? I don't know Fire with Fire. Maybe we should do it. Firewall, Slam Dance, Sideways. She's great in Sideways, which was from like, what, 2010, 2007?
Probably.
Paul Giamatti, she's awesome in Sideways. She's just, I love Virginia Madison.
Yeah.
She's in The Prophecy, which I love The Prophecy when I was younger. Remember that movie? Christopher Walken?
Yes.
I'm the angel, Gabriel.
Yeah.
But I'm a bad guy. Isn't it crazy? I'm an angel, but I'm evil.
If there was one girl whenever I was early teens that I could pick out of anyone to marry at the time, it would have been Virginia Madsen. I was that.
By the way, that is
wrapped up.
By the way, that is a young boy thing of like, if I could meet her one day, I'll marry her.
Yeah. Virginia Madsen had
As if she's just like, hey, little boy.
She had it on everybody to me. Like,
yeah, she's gorgeous. As soon as I saw her in this movie, like, I just literally turned to my wife. I was like, Jesus Christ, Virginia Madsen is beautiful.
I've regressed back to when I was 13 or 12 or
It really happens watching
14.
these movies. Hey, that's a beast. There she is. Look at that.
she's like a super hot.
She's like Gillian Anderson's beautiful aunt.
Yeah. Or if what's her name, Stone? Like if Gillian Anderson and
Sharon Stone
had a baby.
Yeah. Oh, she's. I'm sorry. I always feel awkward when we perv out on these ladies in these movies. Jason Mantzoukas always jokes about having a podcast.
Well, they dress like that. They were asking for it.
He always jokes about having a podcast called "Ladies of the '80s." Just like it's such a good idea, but it's also.
It's perfect.
So the movie, she was in a movie called Raw Heat, and the movie that burned her into my brain was a movie called The Hot Spot.
Yeah.
Directed by Dennis Hopper, starring Don Johnson, Jennifer O'Connelly, and her. And it was called A Hot Spot for a reason.
Yeah. Jennifer was up there too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Man, yeah. Connolly was a beast when it came to that in the best way. We should watch The Hot Spot. We should try to find The Hot Spot.
Yeah.
There'll definitely be. Well, we'll get to the part where I came in this movie soon. We didn't get to that section last time.
No, we did not.
It was definitely not that shower scene.
No. I don't think there was a spot in that movie where.
Maybe when Trump got stabbed in the forehead.
No.
It's about as close as I got to an erection.
Slash cheek.
Slash cheek. My erection went down when I saw it was in the cheek. It's like Trump deserves it right here. Tune into last week's episode. I don't take that out of context. I'm not talking about the president.
You know,
Future president.
A quick interjection here. As I was watching a comedian this morning, and he was talking about Trump bringing up Lincoln. You know, whenever he points out someone that looks like Lincoln in the crowd.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "Stand up!" And the comedian's like, "Do you really want to have you and Lincoln in the same crowd?" You know,
No kidding.
yeah. So I thought that was humorous.
Yeah. Death to tyrants.
Yeah. Not that Lincoln was a tyrant, but
No. But you know what I'm saying.
But he did get shot in the head
It's
and
a
so did Trump.
reference. Yeah.
Not quite as squarely, but glancing below off the earlobe.
Yeah,
The upper ear.
Too bad they had so too bad that state just had laws that you can just carry machine guns around in the street. It's almost like you're asking for it. It's almost like he was wearing a mini skirt in a room full of hard-ons.
Right? Also,
It's like he had a bunch of whore makeup on.
buy more expensive, better scopes, optics.
For real,
Optics
though.
are big for guns.
Yeah, your gun's not much if you can't aim it correctly.
Anyway.
But I mean, he put all that whore makeup on. He put that mini skirt. I don't even think he was wearing undies. Because ladies
Dang
love it when
undies.
you call them undies. Or panties. He wasn't wearing
The
no
whites.
The whites. He took them off.
I bet all his are orange, though. Just like orange fingerprints on them.
Oh,
for
and
pulling his
brown.
whites up.
And brown in the middle.
Yeah.
Constantly shitting himself. We're talking about the guy from the movie last week.
Right. What's it? They call him Von Schitzen. Von Schitz's pants. Von Schitzen's pants.
Yeah. All right.
Not us. We don't. They. The royal they. I think is how they say it.
Where am I at here? Xander Berkeley.
We're still talking about Virginia Madsen.
How beautiful she is. Hey.
Hey-yo.
22
We have not
already.
made it
We
anywhere.
don't have a middle section. I don't even know why that's here. It's almost like I was too lazy to cut it out. Hey, by the way, nobody watching this gives a shit. But there's a new band around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and
Eastwood and the Timberwolves and the
Timberwolves.
Jesus Christ, the Prairie Wolves.
The Prairie Wolves?
Eastwood and the Prairie Wolves.
Should be the Prairie Dogs. I'm just going to say it.
Prairie Dogs.
You need to change it.
Eastwood and Whites.
Eastwood and the Prairie Dogs.
Nah, Prairie Wolves. I can't be dog. That was the whole thing. As I turned it into wolf instead of dog.
Or the Turtle Heads.
Eastwood and the prolapse rectums.
So that's what? You, Jeff, and
Myself, Mr. Shark,
yeah.
Kyle, and Jake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's the old band, essentially.
Yeah.
But we're doing like outlaw countries plus some of the old blues stuff. So first practice is Tuesday night if you want to come hang out in the newly cleaned butcher shop. All right. Xander Berkeley, I don't know who that is. He was in Taken, Poison Ivy 2.
Poison.
Oh, yeah. It's the guy. It's the husband, I think. He's in Air Force One, Terminator
he's
2,
I
Barbed Wire, Heat. He's the guy that's banging Al's wife in Heat.
That guy makes it so easy to hate him.
Yes, he's that guy.
He's got a skill, man.
He's 100% that guy. He's in Mommy Dearest. He's in Sid and Nancy.
I just noticed your hat. You've had it for. I like that hat.
Thank you. I'm not even sure what I'm wearing.
Track stars, mixtapes, and vinyl.
Ah, yes. It's a present from the chef himself. Yes.
Chef never sends me any presents.
It's from, we're big fans of a rapper named Killer Mike. And Chef was lucky enough to go see him. And he sent me both Killer Mike and Killer Mike's DJ's hat. So that's what this is.
You can send me a ribeye in the mail if you'd like. This, overnight.
You better be careful.
Overnight.
You better be careful what you ask for. From Chef, it might show
cow's
up.
head.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be a bull's balls in a jar.
I was very specific in the ribeye.
Oh, you want a rib? I took one out. So
A rib and an eye.
Stanley DeSantis, of course, that's the
Ron's
governor's great uncle.
Yeah.
Michael Culkin is in this. No connection to the other Culkins. He's the like Ben Franklin looking guy that has this story later. And then Ted Raimi, which is Sam Raimi's brother. He plays the boyfriend of the young girl in the first segment of the movie, and he's like 50 years old, and he's supposed to be playing a bad boy in high school. That's one of the flaws in this movie. So it starts out. Let's get into it. Is there anything else? Oh wait, sorry, we didn't do any of this. It's Jesus. We're
What was the
halfway
number
through
one
it.
song?
Yes, number one song on October 16th, 1992.
I feel okay. Here's my feelings on this. I don't think Nirvana and Pearl Jam were really
No,
there yet.
no, not at all.
As far as
No.
so
There was one considered alternative band, but they're early alternative.
Yeah.
is in there.
So I feel like it has to be hip hop in this area.
Ish, adjacent. Philadelphia.
How do I say goodbye? Is it?
Did you look that up? No, yeah, it's Into the Road.
It has to be.
By
It was enormous then.
Yeah,
in that time frame.
I had a certain little. Well, I don't want to. Never mind. I shouldn't say. It might be watching that. I know they. Never mind.
Had they just used the body bag in the previous song,
Yes, that's right.
they wouldn't have had said goodbye.
All I'll say is Grade School Dance, and mwah.
Sadie Hawkins, was it Sadie Hawkins?
I don't remember which one it was.
We had a Sadie Hawkins dance whenever I was in.
But I had a yeah. But the song was anyway. Awkward. Anyway, no, not really. Very nice memory. Anyway, Number one song, End of the Road, Boyz II Men, Real Love by Mary J. Blige, and Drive by R.E.M., the alternative band. Number one movie, classic, we got to do this one eventually, Under Siege with Steven Seagal, a movie called Sleepers that I know people reference a lot. I don't honestly know it. And Ghost in the Darkness, pretty good. I think that movie's good.
So,
I don't remember.
I feel like Singles was out then.
Singles.
And, there was a lot of goodish movies, and so
92 is full of things like you would be so shocked that they came out in 92. You'd be like, holy crap, that movie. The number one show, this was nice, Seinfeld.
Yeah. I still love Seinfeld.
Oh, Seinfeld's, yeah. It's even the...
It holds up. Friends did not.
No,
Seinfeld
not at all. I don't
100%
think so.
holds up.
Yeah, it's... well, because, as they tell you, it's about nothing.
Right.
And when you make your thing about nothing, it really holds up better than anything.
Yeah.
Because when your thing's about nothing, it can be about anything.
Right.
That's kind of the beauty of it. Where am I at here? Movie Under Siege, Sleepers. Yeah. Number one show, Seinfeld. ER was that right after that? What do I have? I didn't finish that sentence. Suddenly, no. Home Improvement, Coach, Grace Under Fire, and the Drew Carey Show.
I did oddly, I liked a lot of those shows. Which,
I watched. Michelle and I talk about it a
Home
lot.
Improvement, Coach.
It's almost, we didn't have a lot to watch back then, but we watched all those shows. We watched Coach, where it's Home Improvement. Like it was, you didn't. What the fuck?
With Dauber.
He made Coach. Coach, the star of Coach, once said that he was not in a favor of government handouts, and people shouldn't be on government handouts. But he had to use welfare when he was young, but people in general shouldn't do that.
I mean, nobody should be in favor of it, and nobody should have to.
Exactly.
He's exactly right in that part.
Yeah, you're right, Coach.
Yeah.
Where's the Van Dyke to set you straight?
If people weren't holding other people down for so long, then no one would need that. So
it's true. We start out with this great overhead shot with this wonderful music. We get Clive Barker, and he says we get a voice. Not Clive Owen, the sexy British man who's destined to star in one of my movies. So I can tell him what to do and feel like a powerful man. We get this opening quote is so frickin' Clive Barker. I love the Hellraiser movies. The original ones. I love Clive Barker. Hellraiser. I know that he spent so much time in underground S&M and gay clubs in New York doing research for movies. He knew, there's a great episode of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob.
Wouldn't that be dude? If you're
I want to make a movie about Clive Barker.
If you're single and 30, and you could just go to whatever and just the crazy shit. Just be, I'm researching
this.
Yeah.
I'm a writer.
I really have to know how an orgy, comes to fruition. So
because he was an author, people forget Clive Barker was an author way before he was writing movies, and a lot of his movies are based off his stories. But he was a connoisseur of the S&M and bondage scene in the New York area. And he kept a catalog. And if there's a great episode of Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs where they play a Clive Barker movie. I can't tell you what it is. It might be Candyman. I don't think it is. I think it's Hellraiser. And Joe Bob goes through the list. Jesus Christ. We should have done it for this show. Intern Kyle. The list of names of the bondage and S&M nightclubs in New York, and it was 40. List.
Oh, I'm sure
it was endless.
Especially,
and the names were all just like the Iron Hammer, Leather and Steam,
Summer D,
Black Heat, Metal and Mesh. Yeah. They were all just Hellbrand,
latex and lasagna.
Leather and iron. Dildos and
filled holes. I don't know, man. I don't.
That came too quick.
Yeah.
Feels like that might have been the title of a movie you knew. Dilled holes and filled holes.
Yeah. It's not, actually. It's just, I'm ashamed that it came to me that quick.
Glory hole Harry. What? I got one of these fancy.
That's how you look it up in the phone book.
The phone
Harry,
book.
Harry.
By the way,
Well, yeah.
if you're traversing the modern healthcare system, like I might be right now, you have to go through this thing called referrals. And I've been told by, I might have to blink this out, but who gives a F, SSM Health, that there's one lady in charge of referring your appointments and getting referrals jumped. And I may or may have not told the person that a chimpanzee with a rotary phone from the 90s and a phone book could do a better job than she's doing, because she sucks. And if you want to pay me $25 an hour to sit on my ass and call people, I'll do it, because I can at least get the job done, as opposed to having to wait a couple months just to get an appointment at a place, which is going to be at least 3 months later from when she called, if she could have just called that day. But she's so busy. Or here's an idea, SSM. Hire some goddamn people.
Yeah?
That's my rant about healthcare for right now.
Maybe if you did a little song and dance for her, maybe you'd have got in there a little quicker. Hello, my lady. Hello. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Anyway.
Maybe you got in. Just saying. A little
Just saying.
entertainment goes a long way.
I like my old man coffee I have here. The Greatest Generation. We haven't gotten to this movie at all. Overhead shot.
No, and it's a good movie.
Bees flood the city. Oh, the great quote I started, Clive Barker quote, is, what is blood if not for shedding? Which is, I'm like, that's Clive. That's Clive Barker from the get-go. And then it gets a little muddy. I'm not sure what he's talking about. And I did not remember this shot of bees swarming the city.
Yeah. It was a little
weird. Not the greatest looking thing.
But, what are you going to do?
And then I just wrote Virginia, hot. Story, Billy. She tells Billy about Seaman. So the story is, this lady, it's a weird story. They're like, she had Billy come over, but Billy's not her boyfriend. Michael's her normal boyfriend.
Right.
But
He's
she would
a
never.
bad guy.
But Billy's a bad boy, and she would never give Michael what she's about to give Billy. And I'm like, these urban legends are always so
unbelievable,
fishy, because like, how do you know these details?
I've got, who in the hell getting ready to have sex is going to start talking about CANDYMAN and like it's
you know what guys like? They like urban legends about CANDYMAN.
Yeah. Really?
You know what
Really
gets that summer D pumping?
Clicks it up a couple notches.
Talk about a little CANDYMAN. Come here. So
Dumbest shit ever.
And it's like every time he says it, it's supposed to get like hotter,
Right.
Which is totally Clive Barker's just S&M scene, just like say CANDYMAN to me, bitch.
Right.
I want to rub your summer D, and you're.
I love the fact that he
It's like
says it.
Candyman.
He says it what, 4 times, and then she stops him, and she's like, you go out there,
I got a surprise for you.
right? And then she says it the 5th time.
Yeah, and then she says it like, what? And she also says nobody's ever made it that far.
Right, yeah.
How many bad boys have you brought up here to do this CANDYMAN?
Hey,
I'm going to fill
you're
you
giving
up.
away what-
It's like CANDYMAN / third. Wait, what base is it? Filling up some boobs. That's
first-
second base, right?
First base would be kissing,
kissing.
second base
Second
would be
base would be
boobs, third
boobs.
base would be down the pants, and then fourth.
Okay.
a
What's
home
that
run.
fourth one?
Home run is.
I never figured that one out. That's when you look.
That's when you need the body bag. As the
Home run.
as the hip hoppers used to say.
Home runs when you take a baseball.
Oh no! I need a body bag. Yes.
I don't want to hurt you. I just want to bash you, man. Is that a home run? I get confused easily on terms like
Yeah.
this.
Which made it awkward to date, I would assume. Back.
Is it baseball bat time?
Sally came to school the other day with a black eye and bruises all over the side of her face. Said she went out with Joe this weekend. I didn't know what I was doing, man. Just thought really wanted to get a home run. Everybody talks about it. beat the shit out of her.
There's an imprint on the side of her cheek in the shape of a baseball
It
glove.
says Rawlings. Beat the shit out of her with a wiffle ball bat.
He said he's saving the Louisville Slugger for the wedding night. It's all wiffle ball bat till then, baby. Okay, Billy. She finishes it. She dies. We see blood coming from the ceiling. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we hear there's a lot of people telling stories in this movie, but it actually works because that's a literary thing. Is people telling the other person a story, right? And in cinema,
They spent some money on this, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
This movie takes itself extremely seriously.
I want to say the budget was $30 million and it made like $39 million.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
But I was just like, especially for back then, I guess I wasn't expecting it to be that smoothly shot, and and just the acting is excellent.
Everything about it's great.
Yeah, I almost was. I sat there for a while and I was like, why in the hell are we watching this movie?
The only thing that's like, the only thing that bothered me were the cuts. Did yours go to like black, like it was cut for commercials? Because mine would something would happen. And then instead of just going to the next scene, it would black out slowly, and then the next scene.
No, mine didn't. I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I heard there's a director's cut that doesn't do that.
What did you watch it on?
Prime, I think.
No, I couldn't find it. I watched it on AMC Plus.
Oh, I bet you had a better version. I bet there was a re-edited, because mine really bothered me.
Yeah.
It blacked out several times, and I was like, first of all, I don't remember this. This doesn't seem like the editor's choice. It seemed like it was cut for TV.
Right.
I bet it was. Yeah. I need to own this movie. All right, let's get into this. They are doing research. She's doing research. She's
40 minutes into it. Let's get
She's a grad student. There's bees. Billy got killed. They get killed. Oh, his hair turned white. This happened several times. He witnessed he went upstairs. CANDYMAN had killed her, the girlfriend, and a baby because she was babysitting, and his hair turned white instantly, which is a true thing. That can actually happen.
Yeah, I've heard. Which is another. Is it true?
Mm-hmm. I think there are reported cases.
Or is that just another?
Now, of course, somebody could just be pranking people.
Wives' tale.
Then we're in Chicago. We see a lot of cool shots of Chicago. Lots of this movie, I was like, how is there nobody? I've been there. Yeah, but a lot of it was also like, how's there nobody on that bridge?
Right.
Is this shot at 4:55 in the morning?
Right.
Did they close that off? Because it's literally her.
Right.
That should be like just buzzing. Anyway, urban legend class. It's really funny. Like movies presented college like this to you, which is college, by the way, is the biggest ripoff in the
Especially
world.
now.
Unless you're going into a specific medical field, then yeah, you definitely need college. Like there's a lot of jobs that you have to go to college, but for the most part, a lot of things that you might want to do, you can probably just learn how to do it and get an apprenticeship some sort or another.
It makes more sense, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, this idea of college, of like classes where there's a professor and this big auditorium and he's like preaching and the kids are like calling out ideas and he's like, and he's all interactive with people and it's like about urban legends. You know, who doesn't want to sit in a class and learn about urban legends?
Right.
And then you go to college and it's the most like sterile, just like, God damn it, I got to do this. I got to do this again.
Right. Yeah.
Why am I doing this exactly? It's not like this. There's no urban legend classes. I took some fun. There were a couple professors and a couple classes that were cool in college, but
I took art appreciation and music appreciation in the same
semester.
Yes. And it was my art appreciation was at 8:00 in the morning.
Oh,
and music appreciation was at like 2:30 or 3, and I had like a 2-hour gap between my last class and that class.
Those were killers.
So I
for me.
failed miserably because I never made it to art appreciation.
Yeah,
and then I was always gone or just completely. Yeah.
Those classes where there was too much of a break, they were too hard because you'd be like, well, I got 2 hours to kill. What am I going to do?
Everybody else is rolling out, and I'm like, well, I'm not staying here. But it's like, it's Run Lake, dude. Like, so yeah, I failed miserably at art appreciation and music.
That's hilarious. Right.
Which should have been the 2 easiest class I ever took. But
There's an urban legend class, and he says he has the balls to tell his Virginia Madison as she comes into class, here's the cream of my crop, his urban legend class. There's a chick, they're obviously banging. She's just like so mad to see Virginia Madison. Madsen. She leaves. The girl Madsen's like, "Want to tell me about her?"
Bye.
That was
See
me.
ya.
That was me a year ago, by the way. Essentially, because she's a grad student, and she's mad at him for doing the urban legends because it's going to taint her. Her
he was supposed
thesis.
to wait.
By the way, this also puts forward that you can do theses with other people. That you can have.
We should have Doc on for this.
We should have. This is a question for him. A co-thesis.
Yes.
I don't think that's a thing.
Probably not.
I don't think you can be like this. We did this.
Well, when I
together.
did my thesis at Ren Lake,
When I did my thesis in music appreciation, I talked about Billy Joel.
I used a lot of other people's information, not my own. Uptown girl.
So there's that whole scene. They're smoking in a college class. God damn it, she's smoking right there.
Yeah.
I'm a ex,
Twice. In 2 ways.
In 2 ways. Yep. I'm an ex-smoker, but watching her smoke's pretty fun. There's this great scene where this janitor happens to hear her talking about the Candyman. Mm-hmm. She says, "I know about the Candyman. I know a friend." And it's this awesome scene where she's like, "Can I talk to your friend?" And you're like, "Oh, they're gonna cut to that scene."
Right, yeah. She's gonna have to go downtown somewhere. No.
Opens the door and goes, "Hey,
Yeah,
come in here.
yeah.
Your friend's right there."
Right. It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was
I thought
so awesome.
I thought it was great because it's
We don't need to. Why go to another place?
It saved 20,
Saves so much time.
15 minutes out of the movie.
It really did.
It was genius.
And I really thought like that's a rewrite. They had to go see her
and
originally.
you know what? But it's so realistic too because of the setting that they're in. Mm-hmm. You know, it just makes a lot of sense.
It does. It really does. It cracked me up at the same time. I was like, "Oh, that's great." What? She has bad hair. She tells her story. She goes to microfiche. She finds an article. Oh, once again,
Microfiche.
give me somebody digging into a story, going to a library to look through microfiche.
Yep.
And I'm always happy to see that.
I guess it's just nostalgic, maybe. I
guess
I don't know,
is.
but it legitimizes
I don't
so
have
much.
I don't have the time, but if somebody had the time to make a just like list of every movie and or TV piece of media where somebody went to the library to look up information on microfiche, I would like to see that list.
It's just
that might explain a lot.
You know, they're serious. They're looking into it seriously if they're going back and they're looking at that because they're putting forth the effort that most people wouldn't put forth. And
Oh yeah,
you know, I don't know.
It's the
That's how my brain clicks.
It's
anyway.
also the not the equivalent, but it's. I also love when somebody's got a bunch of names on a board and they're tying strings.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy's connected to this guy, and they're figuring out the mystery. Still works for me somehow.
Also, microfiche, like you can't go back and alter that. Like that is a picture of the actual article, so you can't just go back and like alter it like with AI or anything. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it is what it
legitimate.
is.
It's not online technically,
You're right.
so that is
It's
legitimate.
hard. It's hard copy.
Yeah.
Like the old show that used to be on. Hard copy.
Hard copy, not heart to heart.
Not hard to hard.
Not Hardcastle
My
McCormick.
name's Max.
Hardcastle McCormick.
Hardcastle McCormick. No. Have you watched that? Do you have the Netflix?
No,
I didn't. Okay, I didn't think you did.
we used to.
We're getting rid of ours, I think. I wanted to watch that Mr. McMahon show. Is gonna bring it up.
I can't. I hate that dude.
Oh, I do too, but I kind of wanted to watch it anyway. Let's see here. She shows her friend that her housing is actually Cabrini Green was a real project. It's long gone now. We discussed it yesterday, but her house was being built for the projects, right?
Yeah. And then they realized
realized
had a great view.
They had a great view, and I immediately was like, no project had that giant glass wall.
Right? Yeah.
So my wife was like, "Oh, well, that was part of the improvement."
Right.
She said, like, "Oh, they made some upgrades." And it's like, that's a big upgrade.
Yeah.
To knock out a wall.
Even that fancy cutout in the wall in the hallway.
Yes, yeah. But she shows like essentially the layout is exactly the same as Cabrini Green. So are we to believe that somehow her apartment is connected to that? Like, I didn't quite understand what the connection was, short of she knows the layout of the apartments because they're the same.
Right. And it just
She shows her friend that. She knocks out
how shitty people are.
Yeah.
They're not going to give poor people a good view.
Yeah, absolutely. She knocks out the medicine cabinet to show that, like, you can literally get in her medicine cabinet, pull it out, and push your neighbors out. And she thinks, well, that's how this killer of this lady got through the wall.
Right.
Was that you can push these through, and this lady died of the CANDYMAN. And she's like, it's not really the CANDYMAN.
She got the diabetes.
She got anyway, did she do the mirror? Did she do CANDYMAN there?
Yes.
I can't remember. Oh, I was going to say, there's so many cool shots that you wouldn't notice until I was rewatching it. There's so many cool shots of them just doing whatever. And somewhere in the background will be a mirror. And they've almost always set it up to where Virginia Madison is being reflected in that mirror.
Yeah.
And then later she pulls out a mirror and climbs through it, thus going through the mirror into the world of the CANDYMAN.
What would that be? The fifth wall that she broke through
the
there?
Sixth wall in my book. The fifth wall is that Summer D.
Yeah.
She shows her friends the apartments. They have a co-thesis. We hear all about Cabrini Green. They go there. They're like, let's go there. And her friend has mace and like a stun gun. All kinds of stuff.
She needs my flashlight that I got.
She does need your flashlight.
Got the stun gun.
They go there. They think they're cops. And we were like, there were no undercover female cops like that in 1992, were there?
Right. Not that we're gonna go where they went.
Yeah, where they went. They're like, hey, what y'all ladies want? They yell like 5-0's coming, and they clear out the projects. And then is that the oh no. She gets in there, and this bothers me because back in the day, folks, you only had like 24 pictures in a camera.
Yeah.
And she is taking pictures of everything at least 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cool and it looks cool. But in the back of my head, I was going, stop taking pictures. You haven't even got to the cool stuff.
She does run
yet.
out, though. She does.
But I was going to say, it was also very satisfying when she ran out. She's like, oh, crap. Before, I was like, maybe you shouldn't took 12 pictures of the door that said Sweets to the Sweet written on it. That's the CANDYMAN's thing. Okay. There's a super cool shot of her.
Hungry bees, by the way.
We're getting to it. There's a cool shot of her going through this hole, and she climbs into the apartment where this lady was killed. And when you go through this hole in the wall, it's the CANDYMAN face, and the mouth is the hole. And it's a really cool shot of her coming through it. And there's like just a bunch of gross stuff and an altar, and it says all the sweets of the sweets. It's then she meets the lady with the dog and who has a baby. There's a weird line about, oh, do you have a baby? No, but I want one. What?
Right.
It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. I got my eye on this one. The one is, I was like, isn't that?
Oh, so is that just setting up because later they make it look like she's stolen the baby? Then this is where they have dinner with Ben Franklin. And Ben Franklin, he's already written a paper on the CANDYMAN. Right. And Virginia Madsen's just like, we're going to bury your ass.
Yeah, we're going to make you look like you.
And then he's like, do you know the story of CANDYMAN? She's like, no. What?
Yeah. You're doing your thesis on this.
You're awful confident for a lady that doesn't know the original story.
Yeah.
And why? Justifiably laughs. He's just like, how are you going to bury me if you don't even know the story of CANDYMAN? I swear to God, he looks like Ben Franklin.
He does look like Ben Franklin.
He's got a weird accent. So he tells her the story.
Or at least how they portrayed Ben Franklin
yes, of course, on the $100 bill.
We don't know exactly how Ben Franklin actually.
I heard he looked like never mind. Donald. Never mind. Now we get to the real story of the CANDYMAN, which was he was a son of a slave who, after the Civil War, was freed, went into the shoe business.
Yep.
Became rich. He was part of polite society and educated his son, the CANDYMAN, he was a great artist. And he was hired by somebody to paint his daughter and capture her virginal beauty.
Yes.
Of course. What do you think happened?
Summer D.
Summer D. Summer D's hanging out. It's
Just,
hot.
oh my!
It's hot in Illinois.
What is that? Is that a paintbrush in your pants? He's like, maybe.
I heard not only your easel has a third leg.
As Kid Rock said, I can paint you white if you'd like. Kid Rock, not me. I'm not saying that.
Yes. So, what happened to the Candyman? Well, it's a pretty simple story.
Jesus.
It's not like they went to extra effort to torture this guy.
No.
He fell in love with the lady he was painting, her virginal beauty. And then some, he has a weird word, some exceptional hooligans or something like that. Some deviant hooligans.
Got into some good trouble.
Yes, they got in a bit of trouble with the Candyman. They cut off his hand
With a rusty saw.
With a rust. Yeah, that's right. With a
just
rusty
regular
saw.
one, just a rusty.
Hey, Johnny, you got a good saw? Nope.
Nope.
Well, I do. But this son of a bitch here don't deserve no. He fell in love with a white lady.
We'll give him the rusty.
Rusty
It's a
saw.
good thing they didn't have a trombone on hand. Anyway.
All right. They cut off his hand. You're like, oh man, poor Candyman. That's enough. But then they're like, there was an, what are they called? Apiary?
Yeah, whatever it is with bees.
There's an apiary nearby, full of hungry bees. It says hungry bees.
Hungry bee. I've never been able to tell if a bee was hungry or not.
Even if a bee's hungry, stinging is their last resort.
Right.
They're not like, I need to eat, let's kill myself.
Right.
They're just hungry. So they say they stripped him and they covered him in honeycomb, and then he was killed by the stinging of all the bees. And I was like, if bees are eating honey, I'll give you that bees love honey. But they're not going to be stinging you.
Unless he's swatting at them, making them sting.
With his bloody stump.
Yeah.
Get away.
They were hungry bees.
They were very hungry bees. But after that, they killed him. Then they burned him.
And then
spread his ashes
Like they
over
were
Cabrini
just like-
Green. It's a lot of work, is what I'm saying.
They really did not want to intermix races.
Could
back
you
then.
imagine how much energy and hate it takes to do all of that? Like, killing him, just beating him up, maybe. Then the killing is way over the top.
Republicans must be exhausted every night.
And by the end, they're like, he's dead. All right, well, we're not done yet. Let's burn him.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
done? Nope.
Nope.
Scoop the ashes.
Yep. Nope, not yet.
His ashes don't even belong together.
Nope. It's there's some hate.
Boy, they didn't like him. Oh, Candyman.
I don't think he was alone though. I don't think they just didn't like him. It was the whole. There were multiple.
Okay, then we cut to her talking to this little kid. He's great.
That kid is great.
We see him a lot in the movie. Then we get another story. Another person telling you a story about the Candyman and how this. We don't say this word anymore. Work kid went into this bathroom.
What'd you say? Work kid?
No, I said this kid. I said word kid. Yeah, this he says this blank kid went into this bathroom. They don't.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want us to say it. I mean, could I say it? You guys won't mind if I say it, right? They don't want us to say it. It's crazy. Freedom of speech.
Learning. He was a bit learningly challenged.
Yes. He went in there, and the kid says, it's the greatest story. He says, Candyman cut his thing off and threw it in the toilet.
Yeah.
And then you get this quick cut of a child
Yeah.
laying on the ground on this.
Yeah.
It's a kid.
They came in, it was just
A
floating.
special kid.
Oh, man.
And his thing's floating in the toilet, and you can't flush it down. These low flow toilets. You can't flush down a child's penis.
It's the Democrats.
I mean, mine flushed down just fine.
I've got the water jacked up on mine. I've got it pump running through
Trust
it.
me, Mine's fine. If
I
it was
could wash-
mine,
I could wash down a whole folder of files if I needed to. I've got so much torque
trust
on
me,
mine.
it would flush mine down, no problem, and I have no problem down there. It's big, but I have high flow. The Democrats are going to try to get you low flow toilets. You're going to be stinking up the place. I mean, I don't stink. Melania would tell you.
If she was here.
If she was here.
This is not ever.
When I load my pants, when I load my diaper 5 times a day, smells like pudding, banana.
And rice.
A little bit of chow mein. Egg drop soup. No, I'm just naming Chinese food.
Yeah.
General Zhao,
Cats.
you're a formidable general. I'm thinking about hiring him. We're going to have all
Hannibal Lecter
I'm gonna
and
have-
General So.
General Zhao.
If they had a battle, who would win?
I'm thinking about getting him for my cabinet, Zoe. He seems like a tough guy, right? Good night, Carbondale. Thanks for listening. If you want to hear the rest of this, I pray you do. Get online and look up podcast or on YouTube 2021. Good night, everybody. Love yous. General Zoe, I want him on my cabinet. I want Colonel Sanders. Get me that guy from Return of the Living Dead, that Alpha Republican. I liked him.
He was great.
He had chest hair. You don't see chest hair anymore. Tom Selleck's got a great chest
Nobody
hair.
even has the genes, the bad genes. The Mexicans, they don't have chest hair. They're polluting our gene pool to where we don't have
I
chest
mean, I don't
hair.
want to say words that I shouldn't say because they'll call me names, but there's a reason they're wet back there. Lack of hair like a man.
So where are we at?
This is all under the guise of the Trump from the last character from the last movie we watched. The real Candyman shows
Did
up.
I show you that tattoo I drew?
I used it in a sentence. It wasn't the actual word. This is the scariest part of the movie. When the real Candyman shows up. I'm not talking about the Candyman. I'm
Yeah,
talking
because
about
the fake Candyman comes and beats the crap out of him.
the fake Candyman comes.
With a hook, just
With a
punches you.
hook.
You can see the blood.
It's
It's a pretty good scene.
It's a good scene. It's actually terrifying because she's in this bathroom taking more pictures. In feces on the wall
Yeah,
is written "Sweets for the Sweet." She's taking 100 pictures. She's kicking open each stall. Like, what are you doing? Why do you even need to be here? Doesn't make any. She took some pictures. Get the hell out of there.
The kid says about. I forgot. I wrote it down. Whenever he talks about the Candyman cut his junk off, he says, "Can't fix that."
Right, he says, "Can't fix that," and he says, "Better off dead."
Better off dead. Yes.
You can't even live without that thing.
No, sweets to the sweet, written in shit on the wall. Yeah.
Thick feces, like
Bees
somebody
in the toilet.
Bees in the toilet.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. Actually,
Yeah.
it was a good jump scare.
Yeah.
There's bees in the toilet, written in feces, and I mean, it's big.
It's big.
Somebody had to take days worth
Yeah.
of
Or just one load from Trump.
one load.
One speech full of shit coming out of his mouth. would
You
have
guys, it's true. Nobody fills up diapers. They use my diaper for Sweets for the Sweet for Candyman.
It wasn't even full.
It wasn't. It was just a morning. It was. I already had my morning diaper.
Yeah.
This was midday. Midday usually is light.
All I had between times was soup.
That motherfucker. That MFers never. Well, we're off air.
Yeah.
Well, that motherfucker's never had soup.
No.
I don't trust
Unless you count sweet and sour sauce soup. It's so good.
I don't like the soup. I don't really like water. Well, since we saw him drink that water that one time, it's like he was an alien trying to fit in. It's like, I think he just drinks Mountain Dew and eats McDonald's all day.
Pretty much.
Keep it up, buddy. She talks to this little kid. The Candyman comes in there. Yep. Clocks her. It's scary because he's got a crew. He comes in. He says, You looking for the Candyman, bitch? It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's got a hook, and a meat cleaver or meat hook, and he pops her upside the head. Cut to, I don't have a picture of it, one of the best looking black eyes I've ever seen in a movie.
It's amazing.
Like, it looks...
Like, I'm pretty sure
painful.
they beat the crap out of her, and they had to wait for
I heard she's like a method actress. This is what I heard. And she's a method actress, and she was just like, just clock me. Just do it for real with the hook. I'll take it. You should have seen the things my brother Michael did to me as a child. That's metal hooks, nothing.
We have metal hooks like that at work.
Do you really?
Yeah.
There's some like that out in the butcher shop.
So there's like 80, 85 pound bales of rubber that come in. So whenever the machine, in the old way, when I first hired in 30 years ago, we didn't have these machines. So you had to have that hook in your hand, and you stuck it in the rubber, and then you could pull it out and throw it on the belt. So that's what we did all day. We'd just throw these 80-something pounds.
Jesus Christ.
But then we got
That
these
sounds
machines.
wonderful.
But yeah, in case it was great, 135 degree. You'd think I'd be a lot better shape. Really, be honest. Just shows how poor my diet is. Anyway, back to Candyman.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to say I hauled a lot of hay as a youngster, living in a rural area like I did. Never once saw one of those hooks.
No, I never used one.
hooks.
Hauling hay.
It was just gloves and rope. That's all. But I always see them hanging up. There's some out here in our hay barn. Never used them once.
I think it's easier to break the bale.
Is that what they're maybe for?
I don't know.
They're like
So you can just stick it in
like
there and rip it,
dig it in. Yeah, maybe you're right.
and you just break the bale open, so you don't have to.
Right in. Let us know. My hay hauling days were long ago.
Yeah.
I still eat like one. She goes to a garage, and this is where the real Candyman shows up. There's a weird cut, I said. She's in this garage. We see him
Of course,
from
the weird
across
cut
the way.
might have just been your version.
Might have just been my version. She's in the garage. We see him from across the way, and he starts doing the "Be My Victim." Is the B supposed to be a pun? Helen.
Yeah,
That's right. Helen, be my victim. Is the B supposed to be a pun?
I don't. A little double entendre there. I don't know.
He shows up in the garage.
Does he have like vampire powers to where he can?
Because she's like in love with him a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, she's. It's almost like she's been hypnotized.
Yeah,
like he has her. Under
It is
his
very
spell.
Nosferatu hashtag.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, it's lit very like where her eyes are lit up, and she's very like wet-eyed and dreamy, very vampire-like. Yeah,
just
like, oh yes, I will be your victim, Candyman.
But that's not explained in any of his powers in any of the stories. Like
it's explained by his Samadhi. Yeah, she's very like turned on by him. He's like, be my victim. He walks up to her, blah 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 blah, and this is when she wakes up covered in blood. Right?
Yeah.
She runs outside, and there's a dog's head laying in the floor.
So she's laying in someone's bathroom.
She's in someone's bathroom. Yeah.
Wakes just blood all over her shirt. She's laying in a pool.
Yes, she's just covered in blood. She gets up. There's a dog's head laying outside the bathroom.
Yeah, the Rottweiler.
Did your wife watch this with you or no?
Yeah. Kind of. She was in and out.
Okay.
She was yeah.
She grabs a cleaver. I'm like, don't grab the cleaver.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why in these movies in a murder scene? You're like, grab this, pick this
I
up.
woke up with blood all over me. I should grab a freaking meat cleaver. There's no way I'll look.
She grabs a cleaver. She looks into the room, and then there in the baby crib, the baby she was coveting earlier is gone, and the mom's screaming. The mom jumps on her, starts attacking her, and that's when the police show up, a cab, and
right when Virginia is defending herself, hits her in the arm, with the cleaver, blood squirts out, pretty coolly.
Yep, yeah, it does. Yeah. And she's got the cleaver. The police show up, a cab, and they're like, drop the weapon, blah blah blah. They arrest her. Now this is when I came. You'll see why here, because any red-blooded American man wants to see this.
Jesus. Yeah.
So then we get to this scene, and I actually, all jokes aside, pretty awesome to show you this smoke show in the most non-sexual way possible.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if you're turning into this movie to get to the bloods, boobs, and beasts, you might be in the wrong movie.
Right.
Like here they are, but you don't want to look at because I mean you do.
All I could think of during this whole scene was when she's taking off all her
so
clothes.
Brutal.
The smell of the blood had to have been so pungent.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about
Like the
that.
iron, the sulfury smell.
Yeah,
and it's just
like,
the
it's all crusted and stuck to
yeah,
you.
like that has to be. Not only are you in jail or in hospital, but you're pretty
Yes.
much in jail.
You are in
You're
jail.
in custody.
There's a the lady that plays her police officer, whatever you want to call
telling her to take off
it, is
her shirt.
perfectly
Yes.
like she's so just.
And her acting in this scene where she's like shaking, like
Yeah.
because she knows the situation she's in, she
Yeah.
knows what she's been through. So she's not only terrified to have all
Yeah.
this blood all over and have no clue where it came from, she also knows she's in deep shit.
And she's seen that her best friend is dead.
Yes.
The dog's dead. Wait, no, it's not her best friend.
No,
it's,
it's
the dog's dead. She knows
But
she's in.
just
She
her,
knows
her
something's
shaking is so realistic in this scene.
And the fact that isn't she like keep asking like she just wants a shower,
Yeah.
which is very real. She's not like you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
almost like a shock thing of like I just want a shower.
Yeah.
Just please let me get this
Yeah.
off me.
I'm telling you, dude, this movie is a little too good for us.
It's pretty good. And the cop lady's just stone faced, like take off your underwear.
Yeah.
She's like, please take off your underwear. It's what I'm saying is. Like they let you, like I said earlier, they let you know, like, oh, you want to jay off to some boobs? It's not happening.
No, not this.
Not this movie.
I find the movie. I find the shooting of it is excellent.
It's great.
The
Cinematography is wonderful.
the story and the plot is excellent. The acting is excellent. I don't find it to be that scary.
It's definitely not that scary.
It's not even. It's not even so much. There's.
Psychological horror.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really not. It's got a couple good jump scares.
Yeah.
The bees, like when the guy, like I said earlier, the scariest parts when the guys surround her in the bathroom because you're like
the bonfire scene is pretty.
oh well, yeah. I was like, I don't even want to be surrounded by guys in the bathroom. Oh yeah, she strips. I said it's so clinical. ACAB. It's all downhill for her from here. We get a bad cop. Then we get her in a bath. It's about the closest as like sexual as you get. It's her in a bath, and her dude can't wait to get the hell out of there and get back to his girlfriend.
Yep.
The sleazeball. Is she in a milk bath? Because that water's white as can be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bob's like, what is that? Why is the water like you couldn't see through it?
Yeah.
Luckily, she had enough hills to come through the valleys, if you know what I'm saying. She's going through a slideshow. It's pretty cool. I wondered if that started the thing of where she's looking through pictures and then she. By the way, pictures don't work this way. You can't change focus in a picture. It really bothered me. I was like, did the cinematographer not be like, hey, you realize pictures don't work this way, right? Like nowadays, cameras do have multiple lenses where you can go back later and select what you want focused on. Not the case in 1992. But she just like messes with the focus on the lens and the Candyman comes into focus in a picture. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about, if you know anything about cameras.
If you've ever had a movie night with your projector in the backyard.
But that works. It's good when you see the Candyman show up in her picture. Let's see. Oh, they're in Lower Wacker. I made note.
Yeah.
Lower Wacker, Dark Knight tunnels.
Around the base of the D, I think.
Yep. Then next time we see her, she's in an asylum.
Yeah.
And she's strapped down. That actually was the worst part of the movie for me. Because of all my health things, I can't lay flat on my back. And I was like, oh my God, if I was strapped flat down like she was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't shut up. They'd have to come inject me with something. I would just
Which they do to her multiple times. Clearly for a month. A month.
She comes to and she finds out.
Which opens a plot hole that I'll talk about.
Uh-oh. She's been done for a month. Let's see here. Oh, that baby. Was it about the baby living on top of that dresser for
a month?
Yeah, that's yeah. Every time it cut back to it, I was like,
infant. It's not even like a
an infant.
3-year-old. It
Yeah.
is an infant.
And,
that kid is not surviving. for a month.
CANDYMAN is feeding it blood, it seems, to keep it alive off his nasty hook.
Yeah.
That baby's got some colds at least.
Yeah.
Nobody's changed his diaper. Every time it
But I bet, fast forward to COVID, I bet he didn't get it.
Nope.
But the immune system is freaking fierce.
It's funny because the last movie I wanted to talk about, Tawny Katane died in 2021. And I was convinced she was a COVID denier.
Huh? Who knows?
She didn't want to get the jab. And my wife looked it up. She's like, no, it was a pulmonary thing. And I was like,
Cocaine. Lots of cocaine.
sounds like somebody was lying about COVID. There's a great scene. She's in an office with this great quack. Great quack. This
Yep.
guy's like class A doctor, psych doctor, and she's like, I'll prove it to you. Candyman's real. She calls Candyman, and man, Candyman,
He shows
fucks
the
this dude.
F up,
He
dude.
does. He
Oh,
shows
man.
up hard, rips this dude like.
And you think that the setup of this scene is great because
Yeah.
nothing happens immediately.
Yeah,
And
nothing
you're
happens.
like,
oh.
Candyman's outsmarting her here.
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
Candyman shows up.
He shows up. It just takes a minute because you're right though, because you're like, oh man, they're just gonna think she's crazy, but
Yeah.
nope. He shows up. It's a cool shot where the guy's like, and then the Candyman just like comes up behind him. It's just
Blood just squirting out of his
squirt
mouth.
everywhere, squirting all over her. She escapes through a window,
Which
grabs.
Candyman sets her up.
Absolutely.
To where it's going to just look like she's crazy.
killed somebody
because
again,
he
yeah.
cuts her.
He cuts her things off because at first I was like, well, that's great. She's strapped in
Yeah,
here.
it's going to prove that
It's
she's
going to
not.
prove, but no. Candyman sets her free.
Yeah, that's pretty good writing.
It really is. She jumps out the window and scoots around, jumps back in the window, tackles a nurse, takes their outfit. It's a pretty cool scene. Gets out in the hallway and like doctors are coming. She gets in the elevator.
Which
just
is
in
another
time.
great conundrum. If you are a nurse in a psych ward, right?
And there's somebody in a window.
Yes. And do you let them in or no?
I don't know.
It's kind of like that scene in Pet Sematary, I guess, where isn't it Pet Sematary where he's like, "Let me," and it's his younger brother's outside or his older brother or whatever.
Oh.
He's like, "Let me in," and you're like, "Do I?" Because I know he's a vampire, so he's probably gonna. So,
Oh, I think you're thinking, is it Lost Boys?
No.
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot. Yeah.
There's a new Salem's Lot.
So there's
I'm
there's this
rereading.
conundrum there.
I'm re-listening to Salem's Lot right now. Man, it's good.
Yeah.
God damn, it's a good book. It's key.
Way better than Pet Sematary.
So yeah, she escapes. Let's see. I don't know what that even means. Candyman, lots of paintings. Candyman's napping at one point.
Oh, whenever she breaks out, she goes back to Candyman the apartments, and there's the whole timeline of Candyman all printed.
Yes, that's right.
My ability to verbalize words right now.
No,
It's
you
not-
don't. You got it though. There's lots.
It's
the story of Candyman basically in mural form.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
you're
what
right.
I was shooting for there.
But then we see Candyman. He's napping.
What?
You remember the scene? Like she walks up to him, and he's sleeping.
Yeah.
She's like gonna go tries to kill him.
Yeah.
And there's bees everywhere coming out of his mouth. That's the cool scene where he got $1,000 per sting. He says it's always been you, Helen. And I think that's when we're supposed to realize that she is the lady he fell in love with, reincarnated or something. Maybe we hear the baby, and what do I have here? Soaking in gas. Stabs him in fire. Stuntman. So bad. I don't know. But essentially, what happens? She goes back home, right? And what happens when she gets back to her apartment? Her sleazeball husband has his new lover moving in. She's painting the whole GD place pink.
It's like Pepto Pink.
Like the worst pink you could possibly imagine.
Yes.
And she shows up. They're all scared of her. The reaction of the girlfriend, I did not like the way she played
No. It's almost.
this at all. She played it like she was. Here she is, by the way.
Yeah.
Not trying to get any attention in that shirt.
I would like to bring up a point, and it's not a major thing, but it is a writing flaw.
Okay.
That so they placed her under arrest. Mm-hmm. They read her rights,
Yeah, the same cop that helped her earlier when she was assaulted by the other Candyman is now.
Then she makes a call to her boyfriend, husband, whatever.
Yes.
And then she's like, come and get me. And then in the morning, he comes and gets her.
Okay.
And then they say that they read her Miranda rights and everything. And then they said that they just let her go. You can't do that.
Yeah,
You are either under arrest
or
and
not,
cannot
yeah.
leave.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that, but yeah, you're right. Because she was
But they didn't charge her with anything.
No,
It's
I don't-
what they said
yes.
later. They didn't charge her.
Which you're right. If they didn't charge her with anything,
Then
they
you
couldn't
can't be under
they
arrest,
couldn't
and
have
they're not
arrested her.
going to read you your
Unless they were
Miranda
just
rights. Not that I'm an expert on
dirty
being
cops.
arrested or anything.
But yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about it. And then they leave like through. They have to cover her up. She has like
Right,
a perp
right.
walk basically.
So it's just a little.
And I also
it's
thought-
a flaw there, but other than
Would there
that,
be that much press for a woman in Chicago
right? Yeah.
who there was a missing baby, but there was no indication of her killing anybody?
I did think it was a great point whenever they were talking about how all of these black people or black women, whoever, were getting killed, and the police would never come. But there's this one white woman,
Oh yeah,
and then all of a sudden, police are coming. Like,
it's very true. There's
so
a, there's
I thought
a
it was
lot
a great.
of
there was a lot of good.
there was a lot of good messaging in this theme in this movie, and it was great because it wasn't beating you over the head with it.
Right.
It was just the
It was
story.
just there.
It was just there. Yeah, it was just what was happening. So she thinks she goes back to the place, and then she hears a baby crying. Now they've set up in the very beginning of the movie. There's this giant pile of garbage out in front of Cabrini Greens, and I mean it's massive. She hears the baby crying inside of that, and now the whole thing is Candyman's whole thing is, come with me, Helen, be my victim. I'll spare this child. If you will let me kill you, I guess. Which
Yes.
I'm like, why does he need permission? He's just killing everybody else.
Right. But I
But he
guess since
says
he's
like
in love
you're
with
gonna,
her, that-
yeah, I'm in love with you. You're gonna be with me forever.
Right. I'm not gonna kill you against your will, and then you live with me and hate me for the
hate
rest
me, yes.
of
So
eternity.
I need you to be on board with my insanity. Can we do this together?
Yeah.
And so she goes out there to the pile. The baby's crying in the pile.
The pile, the size of the pile changes a little.
Yes, it does.
From time to time.
Yes, it does. Now, some reason the kids think Candyman's out there,
Right.
And they go out there with gas and start soaking it, dousing the whole pile with gas, and they light it on fire. She's in there. Virginia Madsen's in there with Candyman and the baby
When she's climbing,
through it.
or the stunt woman, whoever was climbing.
Oh, my God. Oh,
above,
dear God.
And she
Oh,
falls
dear God.
in that one part, and I was like, oh my God.
There's a scene where not only she falls, there's a scene where she's crawling through the fire. There's a piece falls and hits her.
Yeah.
And it's the most like just stocky
Yeah.
stunt guy you've ever seen with the worst wig on.
Yeah.
It looked like Dorothy's wig from the Golden Girls. We talked a lot about Virginia Madsen's hair.
But when she's climbing up to get to the baby, before it's on fire.
Yes.
And she falls on something in that.
Oh, yeah,
pile.
yes.
And I was like, oh, whoever that was, whether it was Virginia Madsen or her
yes.
stunt double, or
It hurt.
that was not a purposed fall.
No.
That was that person falling on that trash, on that jagged metal. And
I love the idea that this pile is so big you can crawl inside of it, and it's like its own little world
Right.
inside of it. It's very childlike
it's
thinking.
Candyland.
It's Candyland. Candyman.
Message. I don't know what the message would be. But
So anyway, they set it on fire. She's found the baby. Candyman's in there, and then he reveals he's not going to save the baby. Is that right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "You lied to me, Candyman."
I guess the baby was going to die with them and be their infant child forever.
There's
It's-
no
I don't
explanation.
know.
She just got mad that Candyman lied, and she like stabs him, right, with a piece of wood or something.
Yeah.
And then she grabs the baby,
It sets him on fire.
sets him on fire. He burns up. The little boy that's been in it, we talked about, that's good. He sees him burning up in it, and she pops out of the fire with the baby
On fire.
On fire.
It's a pretty gruesome scene.
It is
really.
pretty gruesome. Just around her face, though.
Yeah.
All this is still money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is burned up real bad.
Don't hit him in the face, baby.
She comes out, gives the baby to the mom, and then we cut to she's dead. So she's dead. We cut to the funeral.
Yeah.
And it's just the ex-boyfriend and the new girl, and maybe Ben Franklin's there, I think. Mm-hmm. And then here comes all the projects.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure what this was supposed to. I guess like she saved the baby. Like I don't know. She's one of us.
She earned their respect.
She earned,
yes.
I guess. But they all show up, and the mom and the baby.
When white
shows
folks
up.
come around, they tend to not shake our hands. Is what they said at one point.
You're right. That's right. So they show up for the funeral to give her last respects, and then you think, the movie's over, and then we cut back.
Well,
to
he drops the hook in.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if that is so she can protect herself in the afterworld, or if it's just
or if it's like you killed,
or
the,
you're
you
going to
killed
need
the
this because you're the new Candyman.
Yes, or is it because you killed the Candyman and this is your reward? This is his hook. I found it.
Right, but I wouldn't want to be buried that.
No, absolutely. I was like,
for
somebody
eternity.
needs to tell that kid this disrespectful.
So I think it's because they know that she has to be the new Candyman now.
It could be. The
Because he was the kid that saw the Candyman.
He saw the Candyman
burning and was like, Candyman's dead officially.
We need a new one. I do like the whole thing about Candyman is, which he talks about a lot about it, is he is the whisperer in the classroom. He is the secret that you blah, 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 blah. Like his power, much like Freddy Krueger, is the stories of him persist, and therefore he persists.
Right.
And as long as someone out there believes in him, then he shall live on. And he
Just like Trump.
Just
all his powers in the people. Once you brainwash idiots. That's not the right word. It's not the right word.
Sure it is.
If people would just stop talking about him, he would shrivel up and die.
It's true. So we're back with the loser boyfriend and his new lady, and she is just.
I don't feel like I said that very well, but go ahead.
She is disgusted with him. She is so mad at him. He's like, his ex-girlfriend died. Granted, like she'd been through some.
Yeah, give him a minute.
Give him a minute. She's like, "Are you gonna come help me cook?" She's all happy, and he's like, "I'll be out there in a little bit." And she's, and
Slams the meat down.
Slams the meat down, chopping the meat up like she's a real asshole.
Like she even knows what she's doing.
Like what do women know about
She's a
cooking
college
meat?
girl. She has no idea how to cook meat. That's a man's job. Everything else,
She's being a real bitch. You need to dump her and get a younger girl.
Right. Yeah, she's approaching the older age.
Anyway,
She's getting ready to be a senior.
She's the cream of the crop in the urban legend class.
Yeah.
Why are you teaching that? I have a curriculum, honey.
Yeah. This is great.
I got a syllabus. I gotta follow this shit. College takes urban legend class serious.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's in the bathroom and he's just devastated. He's doing little flashbacks of her like cooking and her being great and being Virginia Madsen in your life, and you're like, Jesus Christ, how great was this? And he's looking in the mirror and he's like, oh Helen, Helen. And he says it 5 times. And then
she shows up.
Pops up, burned head and all.
Yeah.
And what's she say? She's like, hey,
you look a little afraid of something.
Yeah, what are you scared of? Or something.
Which she says the line earlier in the movie whenever she comes back to the house and the girl's painting the house. And she's like, you look a little...
And she says it to him again, and then she... Do we see it? I don't think we see it.
No, we don't see it.
It just
you just kind of hear it.
We hear it. It's like...
The girlfriend runs in. And
that's it.
And he's just like...
Yeah, that's right. He's
just
in the bathtub. His guts are all ripped out, groin to gullet.
Yeah,
that's what the Candyman does to you. He says, "I'll rip you groin to gullet."
Yep.
Seems like it'd be like cutting off your hand or bees, something associated with it. They didn't rip him. Well, maybe they did.
Well, do you know how strong you have to be to rip that hook through? It's not sharp. It's rounded all the way through. So to even
you're right. It's just it's pure power.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no advantage. It's not like a katana's in there.
The initial impact would, obviously
wouldn't be that hard. But
would
then,
go into you, but then
you're just gonna get stuck pretty quickly.
Yeah, you could. I could see you ripping 4 or 5 inches of skin, and then you're just gonna be like.
Now there's a. Have you watched In a Violent Nature? Have you seen that movie yet?
No, I don't think so.
It's on Shudder. It's a brand new movie. it's like Friday the 13th, but instead of being with the campers, you're with the killer the entire time.
I love that.
We could maybe watch it for the next one. But I
have often thought of reversing the POV of a lot of movies and thinking that would be a completely different movie.
His weapon is some sort of hook thing. Ooh. And there's a lot of like, I'm going to hook you. Like he at one point like puts it through a girl's belly and then hooks it into her head and like pulls it so she bends into a circle and pops her head through her stomach. But there's a lot of like physics things that he does with the hook that's not possible with Candyman.
Right.
Yeah, Candyman should have had a sharpened hook.
Yeah.
Boy, that hook's gnarly though. Every time you see it on that, all against his fur. Yeah. It's so nasty looking. It's always covered in
that
chunks.
fur coat, dude, that he wears. It's so bitchin'. I'm going to use the word bitchin'.
That's great.
I used a different word when I wrote it down. But I don't
dope show, as our friend Doc would say.
Yeah. I said that for a long time too. It's dope show.
Dope show. So that's pretty much it.
Here's the word I used when I wrote it down. I'm not going to say that word, but
probably best. It did though. It really is though. It's a bit of exploitation looking.
It's freaking fantastic.
Tony Todd makes this movie. Him in Virginia. It's too well cast.
Yeah,
it's too well made. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. I love it.
It's too good a movie for us to be dealing with
because it's too good. Did it tie the room together?
It's like giving us a Lamborghini and what are we going to do with this? This is stupid. Country roads.
Yeah,
it's not like we can open this thing up.
It bottoms out in my driveway.
Right.
We get to this part of the podcast when we ask ourselves, does this movie really tie this room together? No brainer. Yeah.
It's too well.
Too well. It's too good of a movie. It's a class act. It's the first, not first. It's elevated horror. People talk about elevated horror and how there's horror, camp horror, and then you have proper elevated horror. I think it's one of the first elevated horrors.
I think the room is too nice for us to be in, let alone worrying about whether it ties it together with satin and lace and very expensive leather, strips.
It's true, and I think it's in part. I didn't, as Virginia Madison. I think I might see if my wife wants to watch The Hot Spot.
You should watch Fire with Fire.
Fire with Fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
will
was
watch
the movie
that
sold me. Like I was. That's all it took for Virginia Madison and me to become a couple. Okay. She did not know we were a couple, but we were for a long time. When I was a very young child.
Much like me and the lady from Superman 2. Have you seen The Hot Spot? Can you remember The Hot Spot? Because it's burned into my brain. Certain scenes of it. You need to watch The Hot Spot, and I'll watch Fire with Fire. Because I think we'll both be like, oh, this is great.
I'm not trying to say Fire with Fire is a great movie. But.
Oh, I understand. Neither is The Hot Spot.
It's not bad. It's not bad though. There's a lot of people in Fire with Fire. You're like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those. But
it's I will say The Hot Spot. It's hot. It's sweaty. Everybody's like covered in sweat constantly. Sweaty stuff happening. Yeah. All right. I watched The Candyman. It's one of the top. I don't know if it's Halloween, but it's one of the top horror movies ever, I think. And if you can't,
we almost missed the scene where she goes in there and grabs the candy that's sitting there, and there's a razor blade. Which
Halloween. It's the old urban legend of the razor.
Urban legend inside of a movie about urban legend.
Now, I did hate the part where he's in his urban legend class, and this is the part. This is what he's teaching. There's alligators in the sewer in New York.
Right.
That's not New York, man. I read it. It was in Florida. How could two stories be from the same place? Well, asshole. There's several million fucking people.
Right. First of
all, stories happen
for gators to get in
every day.
I mean, gators are everywhere in Florida. So
yes,
I can see them easily being everywhere.
Absolutely.
Like, one in your chimney, I can see. But,
it really
it's not that big a stretch.
I don't know why that bothered me so much, but I was like, that's not really that big of a stretch there, dude.
No.
Lots of people out there.
But were they making fun of the movie that they made? The
alligator?
Yeah.
With, what's his name? We should do that movie.
Were they making fun of that?
Maybe.
Was that a cheap shot? Did the director of this and the director of that have bad blood? So they wrote that in. Something to look at.
Maybe he was supposed to get Alligator, and the director got it.
Yeah.
It's like that was supposed to be my turning
And
point
that
in my
guy's like,
life.
man, that movie's a piece of shit.
I was gonna say, don't be sad because this movie's great. It looks great. It's classic, timeless classic. Yep, ties it together. What are we doing next week? Are we gonna do? You want to do Violent Nature? You want to do Terrifier? Do you want to do a Hell House movie? Maybe Hell House is like on the verge. It's not serious, but it's at least.
I don't care what
scary.
we do as long as Witch Trap is involved, and it doesn't have to be a part of the Halloween series.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, we can do Witch Trap for.
But I just want to
Deep Dick.
I want to force you to.
We should do.
So we should wait a month.
We should do. Yeah, we should do Witch Trap for Deep Dick, and
No,
we
it's
should
not.
do.
It's what is it? Dick Down.
Dick Down. That's right. Dick
Down December.
And we should do not Miami Connection. What's the Guns and Girls Andy Serkis movie that we watch about with the snake in it? Hawaii, the Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii is
You
part
know
of
what?
December.
Yes.
I'm sure we can come up with maybe a Poison Ivy.
It's a hard ticket to
One of the guys
Hawaii.
was in Poison Ivy too. I wrote down here from Candyman.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, there's a lot we can do for December. We may just have to release like
Couple of weeks. Double them up. We'll get double the numbers, man.
3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Over the top. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. And check out Candyman. I loved rewatching it. It was a good time.
Yep.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Oh, puppy. Oh,